All right, for level 1B people, this is that theory workbook, level 1B. Starting on page 17, we're going to work through 17 to 20. So page 17, this one's all about intervals. We're working on seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, right? And then we'll head into sixths in the next page. So a couple things to just kind of be aware of. If you've got an even number, a second or a fourth or a sixth, which will come up against pretty soon, one note should be a line note, one should be a space, right? Either way, line, space on the bottom top, or it can be a space on the bottom, line on the top. It doesn't matter, but those seconds and fourths, an even number should end up looking like that. Seconds, you've always got that shift to the side. They're not stacked on top of each other, right? You just can't fit them. There'd be a big scrunchy note in there. Fourths, you can see the bigger space, right? Thirds and fifths, I think, are easy to see. Third, just, it's like a little snowman, the start of a snowman. They're sitting on top of each other. Fifth, it's a bigger space in between, skipping that whole line, right? But thirds and fifths, a line note and line note, or a space note, right? Same idea with fifths or sevenths, ninths. When we hit any odd number, both should be line notes, or both of them are space notes. All right, so this part, it's not too hard. When you're doing this, it's easiest if you just count every line in space. So here you've got line, space, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a fourth, right? And just write fourth, just like that, right? If you can spot them, like this one, space to space, it's got to be an odd number. Space, line, space is a third, right? This one, they're right next to each other. That's a second. So just counting every line in space. It should not be too hard. Same with bass clef, treble clef. Here you're moving into harmonic intervals. These are melodic, where you have one at a time. Those terms will keep coming up. These are melodic intervals. Harmonic intervals, you can see them stacked on top of each other. Same process, though. You've got, this is a line note. Skip the space notes, the line. So this is a third. Right, the next one, that one's shifted to the side. It's got to be a second. Right. Line, space, line is a third. Here's a bigger one, right? You can see, again, it's line and line. It's got to be an odd number. It's not a third. It's got to be a fifth. But count it. Line, right? That's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a fifth. Right, so just work through all those. That's the same idea. The last line of the page is bass clef, but same thing, right? Just look at the size of the interval, how far apart they are. All right, next page, page 18. Looks like this here. They're talking about sixths. You can see their example, C to A. That's a line, that's a space, right? Even numbered intervals should be one's a line, one's a space. Same here, there's a space, that's a line, right? You can see all that, all the notes that you skip in between, all the lines and spaces. So the first section you got to work on, learn to distinguish the look of the melodic sixth. So again, melodic, they're separate notes. Circle only the melodic sixths in the example below. So if you're looking at these, that's a line, that's a space, that should be, but you can count them, right? You got a line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a sixth, right? So you just circle that. This is space and space, can't be, that would be a fifth, right? So again, so if you can spot them, this one is a space note and a line note, it's far apart. That's a line, that's a space, it's far apart, right? So you can start kind of seeing where they are. That's a line and line, doesn't work. Okay, so circle the melodic sixth there. The bottom of the page says draw a melodic sixth up from each of the given notes, then name each note. Remember, notes on or above the third line stems down, notes below the third line stems up, right? So you're going to draw notes, but make sure your stems go the right way. All right, so the first example, you've got a C, right? You can write C here. They want a melodic sixth up. So count them. You got line 1, spaces 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, and you're just going to draw a quarter note, so fill in that circle. It's below the center line, so your stem is still headed up. And that's an A. And you can play them, right? Once you draw it, make sure it's a sixth. Same thing, the next one. That's a D. Space, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is right on the middle line, right? So that stem should head down. And we've got a B here. Right, so same idea, just keep working through all the treble clef, bass clef, same idea. right? Just make sure you see the bass clef. So that's a D, that's not a B, right? So just watch the letters. Okay, bottom of the page, same idea, but a melodic sixth down, right? So we're doing bass clef, that's a middle C, right? That's a C. So downwards, you got line, space, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're above the center line, stem heads down, that's an E, right? Not hard. So you're gonna do that bass clef, switching to treble clef, same idea, head down. Sometimes, like this one, and we'll do this example together, sometimes you run out of lines. Okay, so you got that A, right, bass, this is treble clef, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It should be a line note, so you're gonna have to draw a line. Put a note there, that's a middle C. Stem goes up because you're on the below the center line, right? That's a C. So sometimes you have to add ledger lines. Don't be afraid, should be fine. All right, so go ahead and work through that. Page 19, again, it's about sixths. At the top, they just want you to draw some sixths, right? So they got a sixth up, a sixth down. That should look exactly the same. I don't know, that's a silly example. A sixth up from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Not hard. So work on those. And then in this piece, they ask you, so melodic sixth notes are struck separately. Harmonic sixth notes are struck simultaneously. In the piece below, circle the melodic sixths and mark them with an M. Also circle the harmonic sixths and mark them H. Some melodic and harmonic intervals will overlap. All right, so you're looking through here. We'll look through the right hand first. These are repeated notes. The first jump is right here. That's a line, that's a space. If you count it, that is a sixth. So you're just gonna circle that. And because they're separate notes, one at a time, this is a melodic sixth, so you just put an M here. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So keep going, second, third, that's a third, repeated notes. Again, here, a big jump. It's the same jump as before, G to E. That's also a melodic sixth. The rest of the right hand there, it doesn't do anything else. If you scan the left hand, no big jumps here, right? Nothing happening. Into the second line. We won't find them all, but let's find, like here, this is the second line of the piece, towards the end of that second line. The left hand, this is a sixth also, right? This is line to space. It's big enough. If you count it, that's F to D, it's a sixth. You circle that. This one's one of those harmonic sixths because you're playing the notes at the same time. So you just put an H here next to it, and that's fine. Then I'll know what you mean. And they said sometimes these things will overlap, so let's find one of those. This is looking at the third line, right hand. Okay, so here you have a sixth. This is a harmonic sixth because you're playing them together. You can put an H. Let's put it here. But from G to E, right, this is that same sixth we had at the beginning. You can overlap these. This is a melodic sixth, right? So sometimes you'll have both. And actually left hand, if you look at that, the same thing kind of happens in here. All right, so find all the sixths. That'll help. Eventually you'll be playing this piece in your piano method book too. So it's good to find all these sixths. All right, last page in this assignment. This is for page 20. And this part is some new time signatures. And these are the ones where you have a 2 on the bottom, 2, 2, 3, 2, right? They're kind of funny. When you have a 2 on the bottom, that means your half note, it gets 1 count instead of your quarter note, right? Usually half notes are 2 beats each. Now we're going to count them as 1, right? So everything is kind of cut in half. So you can look at, read any of their instructions. They'll kind of describe what you'll see. But looking at these note values, so if you have a 2 on the bottom, like we said, that half note becomes 1 beat, right? So everything's based on that. Quarter note is half of that, so it's a half beat, right? It used to be 1 beat, now it's a half beat. You're a whole note, right? These whole notes used to be 4 beats, now they're 2. Dotted whole note should have been 6 beats, it's now 3. So everything's half of what you're used to. Okay, so as you're counting these, so they count these for you, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3, right? This is 3 beats in the measure, and there's 3 half note beats, Right, so they count those for you, those examples. So at the bottom of the page, this is part you have to do. So we'll just do a couple measures in each line. This is 2, 2 time. You have 2 big beats. Here's the 1, the 2, and. So just make sure you label every note. If you want to write an and here also, that's totally fine. You don't have to. Label every note with what the beat should be. Same thing here, 1, 2. If you want to write 1 and 2, and that's totally fine too. Okay, and the bottom line, 3, 2 time. You got 1, 2, 3, right? This is a dotted whole note. It's worth 3 beats, right? So you go 1, 2, 3, right? So go ahead and finish up those pages, and that's it for now. Okay, thanks.